inviting me, providing this opportunity to present our project to you. This is a project which started 2016 and until 2018. We partnered with several organizations, and the main one was an organization from Germany. I don't speak German, but and I have troubles pronouncing the name, but they are from Passau. They work exclusively with volunteers and refugees for many years now. They're very popular in Germany, and they've been awarded on multiple occasions at regional and international level. The Talk to Me project was developed by them. What we did was to adapt this project to Bulgarian conditions, and along with our German partners, we had partners from Romania, from Cluj-Napoca. This project was financed under the Erasmus Plus program of the European Union. The essence of this project, I will try to summarize by making a connection of what we spoke in the morning about overcoming the phenomena of racism and xenophobia, and also making a bridge from this morning to what Gabriela said a few minutes ago. It's only normal that people who do not know each other, people who see the other as someone who's completely different, who's coming from a totally different country. It's only normal that these people are seen as aliens, someone that we may be intolerant or discriminative with. So we wanted to overcome this, and in order to do so, we wanted to provide a platform for people to get to know each other and to get together. So what did we do? We set up pairs from a volunteer and a refugee, and they would meet once per week and for 1 hour, and they would talk on different topics. We did this because we believe that communication between people, between two people, eventually leads to these people knowing each other, accepting each other, connecting and bonding, trusting each other as well, and mutual respect, last but not least. Talk to Me is not a language course. We don't have curricula, we don't have grammar exercises. This is not at all aimed to improve the language skills. Rather, Talk with Me is a platform for people to get together and talk to each other, because when you get into a foreign country and don't know the language, what the person is missing, is lacking, is someone to communicate with in a real environment. The other idea was that each and every one of us travels on a regular basis. You know, in order to know a place or a town, is to go around the town, either by walking alone with the map in your hand, or if you have someone you know in this town, because if there's someone to accompany you, someone who is local, they would know what is worth seeing, what is worth visiting, what is worth drinking and eating. They would take you places to party or some special sites. So this is what we wanted to do, to provide for friendship between people coming from different countries. But in order for this to happen, some serious preparation work had to be done in advance. First of all, we needed volunteers. We would envisage these people to be young, from 16 to 30 years. Volunteers were willing to be trained. We developed guidelines. One is the induction of volunteers guidelines, and along with various interesting questions, we had interesting exercises, practical ones. and advice on topics such as stereotypes, thinking, prejudice as well. There was a special chapter on the role of the volunteering mentor, what the expectations were, and also information on where the mentor could get support and help in case of need. One of the exercises that we used while training the volunteers, we showed them these pictures and we asked them, what do you see on this picture? And most of the cases the answer would be smoking, chimneys and polluted air. And then we would show them this next picture. What do you see on this? They will see people entertaining themselves, having some good time. And then we showed them that it's actually the same picture. It's one photograph from Iceland. It's a geyser, of which one part functions as a pool, whereas the other is an installation for carpet cleaning. This is where the steam is generated that you see as if polluting the air. Now this was an example, a good one, of how two seemingly different things are actually part of one and the same picture. What else we did was prepare refugees prior to forming the pairs. We would educate them on what volunteering meant and what their benefits would be if they decided to participate in the pairs, and what was expected from them. We also informed them about some specific cultural differences and disparities. I don't know for how long you've been in Bulgaria for this conference, but you might have noticed the difference of how we nod for saying yes or no. It's totally different to what Europeans do. It's the opposite direction. We also have guidelines for the entire Talk to Me model. It's a detailed, comprehensive description of every step in order for the organizations that avail of this model to be facilitated as best as possible without needing any additional advice, consultation or training. The most important and the most difficult part was to actually get our volunteers together with the refugees on the same day at the same time. We wanted to make sure that the number of volunteers who would show up would be just equal to the number of refugees that would show up, so that nobody's left without a partner. The guidelines have a detailed idea how this meeting would take place, from spaghetti mating to the so-called speed dating format. In this format, refugees would form a line. Just opposite to them, the volunteers would form another line, and they would get 1 minute to talk to each other on a topic, and then they would rearrange so as to meet another partner. In this way, everybody get to speak to everybody else. Now, we extensively deliberated on how to form the pairs at the end. We had an initial idea who would best click with someone else. We had an idea naturally, but we didn't want to impose this onto them, and we made it all kind of random. We asked all volunteers to write their names, put the names into a hat, and then all refugees had to pull one name out of the hat, and this was the selection. The pair was this form for people to meet over the next upcoming weeks, and it worked. People clicked and with each other. There was a toolkit. The toolkit actually consisted of topics that were previously elaborated by volunteers. Those were issues for discussion. But we did not extensively took part of the topic formulation. They were more or less connected to Sofia because the project was implemented in Sofia. They were more or less some hints or a guiding light for volunteers to feel at ease that they would have something to talk about at each of the meetings they would have with the refugees, but they had all the freedom to further discuss. They were also free to change them if they saw that their partner refugee had some other area of interest. The only rules were that our volunteers would not provide legal, financial, or health care consultation and advice to our refugees. Their obligation was to, if such issues came up, to direct and refer the refugees to the competent institutions. There was a pair in which both the volunteer and the refugees were both cyclists, and they would get together cycling around the town. They even decided to go up Vitsha mountain on twice. The volunteer had introduced the refugee to the volunteers' biking company. Another pair was also interesting. One of the girls was one but last year of her high school, and she was in a pair with a refugee who had just graduated from university, starting to be a teacher in Bulgarian school, and she had a problem with the Bulgarian revival authors, Bulgarian literature, novelists, and they turned their meeting into Bulgarian literature classes of some kind, and they met more than once a week. So it turned out that this model works. 6 months after the official completion, the official end of this project, we still had information that 6 of the pairs we've set up still communicate with each other on a regular basis, and that's 6 out of 10, which is a great success. That's a photograph of both volunteers and refugees. Those are the handouts that we've developed under the project, the guidelines, the toolkit document. They're all available for you to refer to at the voluntary-mentors.eu. You can use them, you can read them. Below there are my contacts. You can contact me, call me, write to me. All the materials uploaded on this site are available in Bulgarian, Romanian, German, and English, and you can avail of them totally free of charge. Thank you very much.